Hi, and welcome to my Ask Jessi Kneeland series. I have a question today from someone who asked to stay anonymous. She wrote, I spent the summer traveling around Europe and I was so happy and felt so free. Now I'm back home working and going to school and I just feel like I've lost my mojo. I'm exhausted all the time and I've gotten sick twice since August. And I'm not unhappy or anything, I just miss how amazing I felt this summer. Any thoughts? So I love that she called it her mojo, because that, while maybe a little bit tongue in cheek, is totally kind of what's happening. Because it's, we have our like finite physical energy where if you get enough sleep and you, like go to the gym and you just do normal life, healthy things, you get a certain amount of physical energy from that. But we also have this other energy source, which comes from emotional and energetic sources. And the things that we do that totally light us up and make our like hearts feel exploding and everything is just so amazing. The things that cause that give us a source of energy that can override the physical energy. If you ever think about how like you might feel super exhausted at work, you're like just slugging through the day until you see someone you have a crush on. And all of a sudden it changes. All of a sudden you're like, oh, what a great day. We should go out. Like things change so quickly. And it's not because you drank a coffee. It's not because you took a nap. It's because something energetically or emotionally suddenly piqued your interest. And our bodies are designed to respond to that. Like it's very real, that kind of energy. And the way I like to think about it with clients and with myself is that mojo, or, I call it my magic sometimes. I'm like, oh man, I miss my magic self when I'm in like a down slump. I'm like, oh, I got to get back to that. So when that happens, it's important to look at it as a sign as to whether you're on the path you want to be on, the path that really lights you up and fuels your best life, or if you're on some other path, which might be like perfectly reasonable, maybe the thing you have to do, but isn't really lighting you up or giving you that fuel. And I think there's nothing wrong with doing stuff for a while that doesn't light you up. I have a friend who always uses taxes as an example, where he's like, I'm like a workaholic, and then ask me to do my taxes, and it's like I just can't get out of bed. I like can't get motivated in the slightest. There's just no interest, and it, he feels it physically, like it actually drains him to think about doing this incredibly boring task. And we all have that stuff. Like what's boring to me is totally different than what's boring to you. What lights me up is totally different than what lights you up. And honoring that, learning to figure out for each of us what lights us up and what drains us, beyond that physical level, is the work of discovering like the path you're supposed to be following. So if you're finding that you just had this amazing experience and you got back home and boom, your energy drags and it feels like, ugh, your immune system's following suit, well, I would start looking at that like, hey, maybe something here isn't what you're supposed to be doing. I mean, you can totally make the best of a difficult situation, but why? Like I always say, making the best of it is plan B, but plan A should be to go do the thing that's going to make you feel alive and awake and free and joyful. So figure out what's going on. Figure out what it is. Is it the people you're around? Is it the job you're doing? What was it about traveling that lit you up so much? Was it the free time? Or the lack of a job? Was it the people? Was it meeting people? Was it the actual place, like being surrounded by beautiful locations? All these things play into what feeds you, what fuels you, that energetic and emotional energy that lights you up. You can get to know that. And I encourage everyone to, because the more you know about that and the more you can tap into that and go, this is just fine. Like my day to day right now, I just feel like fine. To me, that's not good enough. If I'm dragging or I'm feeling like run down or whatever, I start looking at like, what needs to shift for me to get back into my magic, to get my mojo back? Because to me, that's something we are all able to be experiencing at all times, if we listen to these cues. And the cues are energy dragging or energy bursting. Those are the cues that your body's giving you to be like, go that way. This isn't the way. You're off track. Or, yes, awesome, keep going. So that would be what I would say. I would also say that the immune system does follow suit for sure, with this energy. And you can kind of call it stress if you want. I mean, that's like, there's tons of science to support the fact that when you're stressed, your immune system suffers. So trust me, that's all we're really talking about. However, I think it's important to note that there's something stressful inherently about being on the wrong path, being in the wrong place, being in the wrong life. Like when you've made choices that go against your truest self, you'll experience stress. And it's not the kind of stress we think about. It's not the stress of like, oh, I have a deadline. It's the stress of like, "Ugh, this isn't like I ignored my intuition. I'm not supposed to be here. I should have, there was something I really wanted and I didn't do it." So that kind of stress will also impact your immune system. And don't disqualify that. That's real shit. Like you can, this is, everybody's like, well, but that it shouldn't be that way. You can say that all you want, but it is that way. I mean, that is how we're designed. We are designed to get filled with energy and health when we're following our truest selves and our truest paths. And that's not woo woo, like there's shit to back this up with. So trust it, just let it be and go, okay, what an interesting sign it is that I've been getting sick a lot and I'm feeling exhausted. Just noticing that is where you start. And then you get to compile information. Ask yourself questions like what it was that lit you up and why you're feeling so draggy now. See if you can shift things around. See if it needs a big, bold choice or maybe just a couple of little things like making your apartment more beautiful or, like feeling more connected to your purpose in the work that you do. These are things that will definitely change your experience of the same location. I hope that's helpful, and feel free to leave me a comment in the message in the comment, and let me know what you think, or if you've ever experienced this kind of lacking or shifting or gaining of emotional and energetic energy.